Okay, guys, let's roll. First of all, of course, Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you have a really wonderful, peaceful time. Enjoy it. We've got a busy year next year, haven't we? We've got a country to save. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of you who subscribe to the channel. The other day, when I said it would be nice to reach 1,500 subscribers by Christmas, I said I was shooting at the stars. I never expected to. But we did it. I just checked and we got 1,505 subscribers. That's a kind of record, you know. We've come a long way in just a few months, guys. Anyhow, what am I doing making a video for you on Christmas Day? Well, I'll tell you. First of all, it's Christmas Eve. And secondly, I didn't feel like watching television. I never watch television, to be honest. So I thought I'd make a video instead. And I think I might have a bit of a treat for you. That is, if you don't mind listening to an old sailor tell you a sea story. It's a good sea story. I'm going to tell you about the legend of the able seaman known as Beasty Beeson. A living legend in Hong Kong. So anyhow, rock that lantern, get ready, and let's set sail. We start off here aboard HMS Monkton. This photo was taken when she was out in Hong Kong. If you have a look at the funnel, you can see a dragon symbol on it. She was a patrol vessel out there. We sailed from Plymouth in company with Wasperton and Wolverton, I think. 3 of us, and we sailed out to Hong Kong. Took a long, long time. I don't know how many months. We stopped off at so many different ports and places. South Africa, Kenya, Mombasa, Ceylon, Sri Lanka it's called now, French Senegal, Maldives, so many places. On board there were approximately either it was 29 or 31, I can't remember, crew. That included the officers, a few petty officers, and the crew. For this voyage there were 2 radio operators on board. Normally I only operated as the sole radio operator, but obviously they had to put 2 on for a trip that long. There was no bunting tosser. Bunting tosser is the guy who does the flags and signalling lanterns. So we had to double up as bunting tossers with flags, signalling, which we were all trained in, and signalling lanterns. We weren't as fast and as professionals as the regular bunting tossers, but we were more than capable. So we had 2 radio operators to split the watches, and yeah, that was experience, trying to send out your signals in the middle of nowhere, checking the time of day, see what the skip frequencies were, that kind of thing. But it was an happy ship, a real happy ship with a good crew, and it was a wonderful voyage. To be honest, when I first arrived at Hong Kong, after a few days, I wished we could have kept on sailing round the world. But we didn't, and I quickly fell in love with Hong Kong, and they had to carry me to the plane, drunk, to put me on it to return me to the UK. Those were different times. Anyhow, so that's HMS Monkton. Not the ship I loved most in the Royal Navy. That was HMS Kettleston on fishery protection. Anyhow, let's get on with the story, and let's go to Hong Kong, shall we? This was in 1973. Our story takes place Christmas 1973. But meanwhile, have a look at what Hong Kong was like whilst I was there.
form column in order of sequence numbers. Take half standard distance. Guides course 180. Speed 12.
Roger, sir. Execute to follow. Formation 1. Target Tango Alpha 1, 2. Target 1. Target 1 answer. Target Golf Corbin 180. Target speed 12.
Now, so I'll show you about the next maneuver. Ship's forming column in order of sequence numbers, half standard distance. You maintain your present course and speed.
Quite happy then.
Execute.
Well, this is Taipan standby. Execute.
My name is David Whitehead. I'm the commander of the 6th Patrol Craft Squadron, nicknamed the Dragon Squadron, based out here in Hong Kong. We form part of the British force which supports the Hong Kong government, and obviously to do this we have a number of different roles. Now what do? Well, basically, our main job is to assist the Royal Hong Kong Police to keep law and order in local waters, which incidentally cover more than half the total area of the colony. At the same time, since this densely populated place is on the edge of the tropics, it is often struck by typhoons. We provide an ever-ready force, which can bring immediate help in the event of this.
That's the Queen Elizabeth. I used to sail around it in a dinghy just to look at her. Interesting thing is, right at the bow of her, the deck hadn't been touched. She was taken out to Hong Kong to be used as an hotel, but she caught fire under suspicious circumstances in 1972. By the time we arrived, that is what she looked like. But the bow of the ship, you can just make it out. I never forget, the decks, wooden deck there, hadn't been touched by the fire and they were gleaming white. At the stern of the ship, you can't see it, but a swimming pool. And as tide come in, it would fill the pool. As it went out, it would empty. Interesting. Typhoons was something else out there. I'll tell you a story about being in a typhoon one day.
Or indeed any other sort of disaster or accident. Another important part of our work is to help in making life easier for the people who live in the 236 islands of the colony. We build things like playgrounds and football pitches, and work on projects to improve existing facilities, particularly in the more remote areas. Naturally, we also get involved in the day-to-day life of the community, and this brings us all sorts of smaller tasks, from providing escorts for VIPs to starting sailing and dragon boat races.
The dragon boat races, yeah. These were big long boats, and they'd have a crew of about, maybe 30 people, and all the different districts, the different forces would enter their boat into the dragon races. It was a great honour to take part in the dragon boat races, and I was lucky enough to be representing the Royal Navy as one of the crew. I had a fabulous baseball cap and t-shirt, but I got drunk that night down the Wan Chai, and I swapped it with an American for his Zippo lighter. We used to collect American Zippo lighters. Any ex-Navy guys who've been to Hong Kong know what I'm talking about. We used to call it Grippo or Zippo. And then, I swapped mine for a Zippo lighter from the USS Paul. I can't tell you where that lighter wound up. Okay, let's get on with the story. We'll never get to learn about Beasty at this rate.
Of course, while we're doing all this, we take every opportunity to maintain our fighting efficiency as units of the fleet. And to help us, we have a larger, more sophisticated ship, such as the guided missile.
Yeah, well, I never saw her in all the time I was out there, but there we go. Anyhow, where are we going to go now, guys? Well, let's start the story, is it? Let's go here. And this is me in Hong Kong, but the Star Ferry is famous. It's across to the New Territories, to Kowloon on the other side. Used to live, well, it doesn't matter. Anyhow, let's get on with the story. It's Christmas. The crew, 29, were mainly up of married company. Because we were out there for over 2 years, they were allowed to fetch their wives and children out, and there were just 5 single ratings on board the Monkton. Might have been 6, 5 I remember. So come Christmas, we volunteered to stay on board and do all the duties, double watches and that, so that the married men could go home and be with their families. It's what you did. You looked after each other. And the married men lived in this place. Any ex-sailors from Hong Kong will be watching him now, and they'll be going, my God, Bonham Towers, the legendary Bonham Towers. It was purpose-built for the Royal Navy, don't know when, and that's where all the married couples would live. Every family would have what they called an armour, and she'd sort of look after the children, keep the place clean, stuff like that. It was, if you like, 1972, dying days of the Empire. Being white still sort of counted for something. In fact, going back, say, to look at our ship, the crew never had to do anything. Normally they'd be responsible for keeping it clean, painting, stuff like that. But the Chinese would have what they called a Jenny's side party for every ship. And this would be made up of young women, teenage girls, very young women, some very attractive. And they would do everything. In fact, you couldn't even wash a plate or anything, because as soon as you finished your food, one of them would take your plate away in the hope that there would be scraps left. I don't know what they done with the scraps of food. They'd take it away in buckets. And they would literally do everything. There was very little for the crew to do, except wait to go drinking. And we did a lot of drinking. Interesting people, the Chinese girls. I got to know a lot of them, obviously, 2 years out there, especially in the bars of Wan Chai. I was very well known. And they had a name for us. It was Guilo, which meant foreigner. And the Chinese didn't really like to see the Chinese girls with the British. It was an unusual thing, but it did happen all the time. Relationships would be struck up with girls from Jenny's side party, or sometimes even from the bars. And the bars were full of girls in Hong Kong, very attractive girls. And their jobs was to encourage you to drink and buy them drinks. And these drinks that they would drink would be sticky greens. And boy, if the Americans were in, prices would go up in the bars 3 times. As soon as an American ship come in, the prices in the bar would go up 3 times. If you were known the way that I was known, and other sailors were known, we'd still buy our drinks at the regular price. They knew we were British and we weren't paid as much as the Americans. So that's where we used to go grip our Zippos from, and some people amassed quite a collection of them. But going back to the girls, I was very friendly with a few of them, and sit down whilst they have their lunch. Somehow, first time I had lunch with them, I'll never forget it, to see these like 3 pretty little Chinese girls in their charm sangs chewing down on fried chicken feet. Tasted quite nice actually, but did look a bit strange. Such a delicate little girl chewing on a chicken's foot. Yeah, I hope they had good lives. They were nice. They worked really hard. Jenny's side party, they worked harder than an Irish navvy. They were hard-working people. And the thing was, they would always say, don't break my rice bowl. If you tried to do something for them, it would be, don't break my rice bowl. Anyhow, let's get back to Bonham Towers, shall we? So here we are, Bonham Towers. And now I can tell you the story of Beasty Beeson. But first, have a look at this. Those are good conduct badges. You get one for every 4 years good service. So a 3 badgeman there meant he'd been 12 years good service. Or as we like to say, he'd been 12 years without getting caught. I only ever managed one of those in my 12 years because as soon as I got one, I'd lose it for doing something invariably involving drink or some escapade. But these good conduct badges were valuable because they could save you time in detention. Because before they throw you into detention, they'd strip you of your good conduct badge. I often thought about putting Velcro on mine. It was on one moment, off the next, on, off, on, off. In fact, I'm pretty sure I left the Navy without one. But there we go. Anyhow, Beasty Beeson. Now, the person who took the photograph there that you see on the left was called Simon John Battersby. He was an able seaman and he came from my Wickham, and his father was the landlord of the Dolphin pub, which I believe is still there now, but obviously the family must be long gone. And anyhow, Simon, there was a party at Bonham Towers over Christmas, and so we tossed a coin and Simon took the risk of leaving the ship and going to the party in Bonham Towers. And there, this is what happened. The legendary Beasty Beeson was there. And so everyone is drinking like maniacs and have a good time. I won't tell you what Sam Patterson done, but that was a legend as well in Hong Kong. So the legendary Beasty Beeson is there, and then about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, the little girl come out the bedroom. She's about 9 or 10, and she sits by Beasty, because everyone knows everyone out there, and she says, "Beasty, why do they call you Beasty?" And he turned over, looked down at her, and vomited her all over her head. And that was Beasty Beeson, a legend. He was a 3-badge AB. I thought he was quite old. I was still quite young there. I was 23, 24. I thought 27, 28 was ancient back then. But he'd never got caught in all those years, a 3-badge AB. Oh dear. Anyhow, so now you know the story of Beasty Beeson. I guess that's all I've got for you. Have a great Christmas, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Might even be Christmas Day, who knows with me.